It is Thursday night here live on Checkered Flag Interactive. It's Steve Bonesteel and Shane Doherty up in the booth here from the Paperclip Martinsville Motor Speedway here in Martinsville, Virginia, and the UpperEdge Racing CMC Sportsman Series is getting ready to get back under racing conditions here after a very eventful race last week at Watkins Glen International. We're back to the left-hand turns, and Shane, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we go from the left to right-hand turns, sweeping uphill curves and stuff like that, back to good old-fashioned short-track racing here at the Paperclip, the Martinsville Speedway, they like to call it. A lot of beating and banging here in the state of Virginia, and it's just amazing to come to this short track. We see some of the best races ever here, and tonight definitely isn't going to be a shortfall.
And it's so exciting with this race being at the tail end of the season. Shane, these drivers out here have a lot at stake. I mean, the championship is still in hand for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who have a lot to lose, talking about guys like Andrew Fayash III, Corey Hoover, Austin Hartenfels, and then there's a lot of guys that don't have a lot to lose, who can essentially throw it all on the table, and if they lose it, so what? They're going for the win, and there's plenty of guys in this field. So many of them, it's hard to name. It's going to be a fun night, and that's just the amazingness of racing this late in the season.
As they roll through 3 and 4, the pace car pulls on down, and I turn it over to you, Shane, to get it kicked off.
Corey Hoover's on the pole for tonight's event. The green flag is out. They're barreling it down into turn number 1 here. Plenty of side-by-side action. Tonight's race in Martinsville underway.
Number 11 on the outside line, going to get checked up big time. Ryan Dyson moves into third on that inside line. RCA 1, 2, or 3. That number 11 still stuck on the outside line. That's Carl Shed there trying to find a place on the inside. Now Shane Terrian going to look up and underneath of him. And now he will make the pass and now finally fall back in line right outside that top box.
Yeah, I started second talking about Carl Shed all the way back to the 5th spot here as we get underway here. And that's just one of the cases of restarting on that outside line. Not preferred groove, and he loses a couple spots there, actually back to the 6th spot.
And currently we've got the top 5. We've got Corey Hoover, followed by Austin Hartenfels, Ryan Dyson, Andrew Fayash, and then Shane Terrian to round out the top 5 here, live at Martinsville Speedway. And if you didn't know, you are tuned in for the UpperEdge Media 200 here. These guys putting on 200 laps of racing, and early on, we're already getting single filed out, Shane. Definitely a little bit surprising here that it's been very calm so far to get this event kicked off.
Yeah, I think some of these guys kind of realizing it is a 200-lap race. We're only on the 5th lap. These top 4 or 5 or so up front, they're definitely giving it all they've got. They're going 110%, driving the car pretty much to its limits. Maybe someone else, maybe back in 7th on back or so, are kind of just taking their time, riding in line, trying to learn what their car has, and maybe the rest of the guys in the back just trying to take it easy for now, keep all 4 fenders clean. Long race, and you need a clean car to finish here at Martinsville, that's for sure.
But so far, it's really single file. Taking a look right now, Carl Shed trying to work back around Shane Terrian in that number 38 machine, that Evil Controllers Mustang. And right now, it does not look like it's really going to go anywhere. So we've got a stalemate right now for 4th position. Actually, that's 5th, excuse me there, as things are already, like we've already said, getting spread out. And you really have to look all the way back to 16th position Wayne Krasinski's making the pass there on Michael Thompson. That is the only actual battle that was going on around the track, and now these guys trying to stretch it out. However, Ryan Dyson's got Andrew Fayash coming up in his mirror pretty quickly.
Yeah, Fayash been so successful all season. No surprise, he's up there in the 4th spot where he started, and diving it down in there through the turns. He might be a little bit faster than Ryan at the moment, but he understands it's a long race, and he'll probably just pick and choose his chances to make a move. But you can't let Corey Hoover and Austin Hartenfels get away. This track, if you get single file, is notorious for long green flag runs. So Fayash definitely going to have to make a move if he doesn't want to lose sight of those guys in front of him.
Now, one thing that is definitely important to note right now, Corey Hoover, he is in a state of desperation, I'd like to say. This is the 20th race of the season with just a couple more left on the board. Corey Hoover is 17 points behind Andrew Fayash. And it's really tough because 17 points might not sound like a lot, but it is really tough when Andrew Fayash finishes consistently, not only in the top 5, but quite often top 3 race in a race out.
Yeah, it is very significant, and if you're Fayash, you're going to have to just continue that trend and go for every spot, really. You're racing Corey Hoover here pretty much. Austin Hartenfels is far back, not mathematically out of it, but very and highly unlikely to come back and pass both those guys for the championship. So you're pretty much racing Corey Hoover for this thing, and he's up there leading laps and pulling away from you at the moment. So I don't know if he's taking it easy for now, kind of realizing it's a long race, but you do get bonus points for not only leading a lap, but leading the most laps.
And Corey Hoover is also our in-race reporter here tonight from Martinsville, so we'll see if we can't get a chance to talk to him later on in the event.
Starting to see Austin Hartenfels kind of fall back into the clutches of Ryan Dyson, who's trying to put a gap on Andrew Fayash III. These guys kind of evenly spaced up here, while Corey Hoover continues to kind of walk away from the field. Not really, but as Austin Hartenfels goes for a huge slide through the corner there, and he might get past here for the 2nd spot, and here comes Dyson to the inside.
Yeah, Dyson's going to dive that UpperEdge medium machine right underneath of Hartenfels. Now, Hartenfels has a little bit of space between him and the 77 of Fayash, but Fayash is right there on that back bumper, so definitely no breathing room right there. Shane Terrian and Carl Shedd still going at it back there just a little ways for 5th, but it does not look like we've already said it's a stalemate, but this time by going into the corner, the number 11 is going to look on the inside line. Carl Shedd and the red Control Freak machine go side by side with Terrian down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Carl's been pretty fast. One of those guys who doesn't show up each and every week, but it's a short track, so he comes here and apparently really likes this place because he's up inside the top 5 now with that pass. So that's just the beauty of short track racing. Gives you a chance to run well as Shane Terrian goes for a 4-wheel slide there. He'll lose yet another spot and fall back to the 7th spot.
That was a pretty scary little moment there for the number 38. However, Trevor Roppolo was able to kind of definitely capitalize on that right there, make up the position. Now that Control Freak green machine moves up into that 6th position, and then the other Roppolo, Mark, is coming up on Shane Terrian as well, and so we might have to watch for a battle continuing for 7th position as Terrian finds a little bit of an early struggle here with the grip here at Martinsville Speedway. It's definitely a sunny day, keeping the track pretty slick. And one thing that we've got to talk about as well right now, Michael Thompson, 17 seconds off the lead, but he's also getting ready to be lapped down here within 5 or 6 laps, I'd say. We're only 20 laps into this thing.
Yeah, 20 laps into the race, and there's already just a straightaway separating the last place car from the first place car. So that's just the thing about short track racing. If you're in the back half of the field, you're going to have to stay on top of your toes, because that leader is probably going to be coming up on you pretty quickly. And seems like we just got the race started about 7 minutes ago, and already you're close to being a lap down. Definitely not a good way to start your night, but plenty of time to make it up, because it's 200 laps around the field.
And 200 laps will go by very, very quickly here. This place is rhythmic. It's the Paperclip in Virginia, of course, and really the most important thing about Martinsville, Shane, is not keeping your car clean, because let's be honest here, you can beat your car all to hell and still be pretty dang fast throughout the race. However, it's important to actually just stay in your groove and don't let yourself get scuffed up too bad. Don't let other drivers beat you around right now as Joe Lawrence and Riley Grant Davis go at it. Looks like Joe Lawrence is going to lose that spot to the number 24, and that 24 Designs machine is going to move up into that 10th spot now. Bruce Ackerman all over the back bumper of Joe Lawrence there for 11th spot.
Yeah, going back to what you said, Steve, I guess as long as the car turns through the corner, like actually makes that left turn, I'd say your car's good to go, front bumper and all, or not, really. It doesn't matter how it looks, but we're just going to have to see how some of these cars look at the end of this race. Right now, it's pretty clean, but if we get a late race caution or something like that, there could be some big-time beat and bang up there for the lead.
And now taking a look right now at Michael Thompson. Don't look behind him, Michael, but you see that Hump Brothers Pizza number 33 Camaro right there behind him. And Shane, it is tough to be in his position, right now. That number 16, that Thompson Signs Mustang, is trying to make up a position on Tellier, but, I mean, that's holding the both of them up.
Yeah, I think they're just going to have to yield to Corey at the moment, and he will going into the turn. It's really early in the race. No need to kind of fight for the guy in front of him. He's not even to the rear bumper of Mike Tellier. Those two are running pretty similar schemes, but he goes ahead and gives up that spot to Corey Hoover, and he'll go ahead and be the first car one lap in.
Now Hoover underneath the Circle Alliance number 97. He's going to make that pass going down the front straightaway. No competition from him. Going one lap down here. Our first two victims to Corey Hoover there. And then Ryan Dyson, you got to look back to him. That UpperEdge Media Camaro from RCA Racing, trying to make a comeback here. He's been gaining momentum over the past few races, but it's a little too late in the season. However, this might just carry over some momentum there as the 16's on the inside wall. Caution for the first time is out tonight.
Yeah, that's the first caution of the night involving the 16 of Michael Thompson, and I guess when we pull up that replay, it's going to show just a self-spin coming off of turn number 4, got a little loose, and did a little half-spin to the inside there.
Replay up on your screen, you see it drives it in really deep there, almost runs over the 97 of Tellier. Taps that inside wall, kind of gets stuck there, and unfortunately the way the cautions work here at Martinsville Motor Speedway, even though he's out of the way, that's going to bring out the caution here early on, and Thompson is the first person to get a massive front end beat and bang.
And that will benefit the guy who was battling Mike Elliott, because he'll get the free pass, but all the leaders on pit road here, at least all that I can see at the moment, coming down pit road, going to see if they take 4 tires, 2 tires, fuel or no fuel. That was about a 30-lap run there, Steve, so going to be very interesting to see what some of these guys do on this pit stop.
Definitely got to say, if it were me right now, if I were outside that top 10 on this run, I would take only right side tires, get off of pit road, get the track position. Fayash is going to do it. Tarian might do it here as well. And definitely, I think that was the way to go, and a couple of drivers, you see it there, that is the way they went.
Yeah, we actually got someone who also stayed out. Elaine Krasinski passes the pit road when the leaders came in and just bypassed it again. So it looks like that 60 are going to stay out for the time being, and he will assume the lead, and Andrew Fayash III on 2 tires is going to be on the front row in second.
And going further, talking about why I think it was definitely a great idea to take only 2 tires here on this opening pit stop. It's so, track position here, we kind of briefly touched on it earlier, but track position is so important. Just like you saw those drivers at the tail end of the lead lap, they were almost going a lap down. Well, now that these guys that are actually taking 2 tires, they're up in the field, maybe not top 5, right around there, however, they're going to have a better opportunity to stay inside that top 10, which will take a lot longer to go laps down, you know, from the people that are in the last couple positions there. So definitely, I think it was a great idea for any driver to not only stay out, take the chance early on, see what they can do with it, or take 2 tires. Just like Andrew Fayash did, he will tentatively probably be able to take that lead pretty easily from the number 60 due to those old tires. But we'll see here, as the pace car lights are going to go off, Shane, we are going to get the green flag this time on by.
Yeah, and it was only a 30-lap run at Martinsville. That's pretty short, considering it is a short track. And I mean, it's early on, so take your risks. Kind of, see what the limits are. Kind of see what you can do on old tires, no tires, and kind of use that as a notes for later in the race to see what you make when it actually counts. But the pace car is going to get ready to pull off here. Elaine Krasinski is now the new leader. He stayed out. We got a couple cars on 2 tires. Shane Terry and Andrew Fayash the third, and Corey Hoover. First car on 4 tires in the 4th spot. Come out of turn 4, green flags out. We're back racing here at the Martinsville Speedway.
And this time that restart looks a little more exciting here, more like the usual Martinsville starts that we see usually. They're going 2 by 2 there. Fayash trying to take the lead. Oh, just trying so hard to get that lead from Krasinski there on that outside. He's going to get the run down the straightaway. Garoppolo into the inside wall. Now, this caution, definitely unfortunate for Garoppolo there in that number 9, but it definitely just benefited Dalton Alexander and Mike Teller. Not sure why, but I do believe they got pass-throughs of some sort because they brought it down pit lane, and they're going to be on pit lane after the caution, so they will not have to wait any longer.
Yeah, that was really lucky. Wow, those guys getting those penalties, being able to come through pit road and have the caution come out, so they're going to stay on the lead lap. And they missed that wreck because they were on pit road when the caution came out. So that's a double bonus for both those guys. And good for them, but not good for Trevor Apollo. He's going to have some right side damage, some front end damage, and that's the 2nd caution here at Martinsville.
We're going to use this opportunity to take a quick commercial break. Don't go away. Shane Doherty and Steve Bonesteel return here for the UpperEdge Media 200 live at Martinsville Speedway.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
As the field rolls through 3 and 4, a little bit of blinking there for Elaine Krasinski and that number 60. That's going to screw up the restart. We might even see some black flags from that one there, as the field just goes diving all over, trying to figure out what just happened there. And Shane, that was crazy.
Yeah, I think we're reporting a black flag on the 33 of Corey Hoover. I'm pretty sure they're going to clear that, and they just did. So that was a scoring error because of that. Possible computer issues there for Elaine Brzezinski, something that some racers have to deal with. Possible technical issues, so we'll see if Elaine can get that fixed before the race is over, but unfortunate because he drops all the way back to 13.
Yeah, real life race car drivers have mechanical failures, while we have internet issues and then weird glitches. As things are again starting to get single file here up towards the front of the field. Fayash and Hoover out in front currently. They are battling it out, or at least starting to, as Hoover's going to do a power slide off of 3 and 4. That took a little bit of dirt tracking there. That Hook Brothers pizza number 33 is definitely digging for all that he's got there, trying to get around Fayash. He took 2 tires on that first round of pit stops down and off the road there. And then Corey Hoover on 4 fresh good ones, as well as Austin Hartel, Ryan Dyson, and Carl Shed, which is the remaining top 5. Now Hoover on the inside of Fayash going in 1 and 2 there. He's going to dive it in hard. Fayash is going to give him any room, really, but it's early on, so it looks like he will try to give him some room up and off the corner. Here comes Hartenfels on the back bumper to both of them as they dive it into 3 and 4. Still side by side for the lead here at Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, these guys given a lot of room, though, and definitely won't see this much room we get toward the end of the race, but being only the 47th lap, there's probably a good 3 or 4 feet between Fayash and Corey through the corners, so he's definitely being cautious right now. They're racing hard, but they're racing cautiously.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised to see how Hartenfels actually dove underneath of Fayash, and I'm surprised actually even more so how Fayash is held on that outside line. He's doing a great job doing it. But I do believe he's just going to get himself in more trouble if he battles too hard here. He's going to have to slip behind that number 29 machine. Or else Ryan Dyson might get underneath. And then looking back, we've got a whole jumble of cars there. Mark Murphy in that 48 getting stuck up on the high side. Now the number 19 of Joe Lawrence is going to make a pass there. Big time battle between these cars as we are now a quarter way almost through this race. Terrian's going to try to cut down on Roppolo. Roppolo taps him there. What a save by Mark Murphy.
Yeah, that's typical short track racing there. Someone thought he wasn't there and instead get into contact there. It's pretty innocent though. They save it right back going again, and they'll learn from it, and hopefully no tempers exchange through that, but still everyone gathers it back up, and Shane's up there in the 7th spot and Mark's back to 9th.
And now that Hoover's gotten his way out to the front, our in-race reporter there has already pulled a second of a gap over Hartenfels and Fayash. Shane. Wow, that machine is hooked up.
Yeah, he's pulling this lead, and he's doing this all on 4 tires. I know Fayash is still up there contending with some of these guys who took 4, but you know, definitely those 4 tires going to prevail over 2 tires eventually, just because those left sides did have 30 laps on them. So, you know, Fayash still having those left sides on him. He's got those same left sides, so he's got actually 50 laps or so of green flag racing on those left sides, and these guys only have about 20 or so. So that's going to pay dividends eventually here as we get into the longer run, and we'll kind of see these guys with 4 tires move up.
Yeah, we will definitely keep our eyes on this one as things are going to shape up as Hoover again got really loose there. And that's actually going to chop down that lead by almost the entire second he had there, Shane. Wow.
Yeah, the first run it was Hartenfels that was getting really loose to the center and exit of the corner, but this run it's Corey who's getting really loose, and he's aggravated those rear tires to a point where he basically has no drive off, and he showed it right there last lap. Almost spun it head onto the wall just like Michael Thompson did, so nice correction. He's still in the lead, but that car definitely not handling 110% how Corey wants it right now.
And that pack of cars we looked at is still going at it. Shane Terry works his way back around Joe Lawrence there, and now he's going to move up back towards that top 5. Now Joe Lawrence having a solid run today in the number 19. Andy Glazik was driving that machine earlier this season. We haven't gotten confirmation on what happened to him, so maybe a little bit later on we can figure out what happened to Glazik, but he dropped out of that car, and he was a solid top 5 points runner, and unfortunate to see him end up not in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Joel Lawrence, though, we saw him in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and I don't know where he finished there, but he definitely ran up front early on and showed some good speed. Here he is again. He started 8th. He's running 7th. Got clean fenders on that thing, and not making anybody angry at all. So he's running a nice race right now and kind of minding his own business. So have to see where that 19 car ends up when the checkered flag flies.
Right now, a couple of cars, they got some damage. Wayne Krasinski's had damage since they dropped the green flag pretty much. And Rally Grant Davis got into some trouble there on that last restart when everyone was bunching it up. And you can see that number 24 has a solid bit of damage on it. And now he's going to dive it in really deep, almost getting to Krasinski. And now Alexander looks underneath him there. He's going to get tight. But it looks like they'll go side by side down the straightaway into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Dalton Alexander's been outside the top 15 for most of the night. He's up to 14th now, and with that pass up to 13th. So the CFI Camaro moving forward right now. I know it's not a big jump, but making small improvements here. If you can continue that up, they'll have a good finish.
Hopping on board with the 6th position, the number 38 of Shane Terry, and you see he started there in 7th. He worked his way up to 3rd in that opening stint. Unfortunately got caught up on the outside here this time by, and then also took 4 tires, and that got him a little bit off sequence there with some of the other drivers. He is sitting there in 6th right now, but he's falling back there, battling so hard, definitely took a toll on those tires, and he's struggling right now.
Yeah, he's also one of those guys who did take 2 tires, so he's on those worn out left sides as well as Fayash. So, you know, those guys with 4 tires, as I continue to say, they've just got more stability. They just have a better feel for the car because of those newer left sides. But Shane's doing a nice job right now up in 6th and not really losing ground to the guys behind him. So good to see, and hopefully those guys can continue to race hard and, you know, be where they are.
Right now, your top 5 sits at Corey Hoover, Austin Hartfells, Andrew Fayash in 3rd, and Ryan Dyson. And then Carl Shed making a solid appearance here today, sitting in 5th in that number 11 machine.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with Carl. His lap times are pretty comparable to the top 5 especially. I know he's in 5th, but he's running lap times in the same 10th bracket as Corey is, so that's usually a good thing. Talk about Corey Hoover and Carl Shed, so nice to see for Carl, and he obviously is showing us tonight that he likes these short tracks, and glad to have him on here tonight. He's having a solid run and having some fun.
Taking a look back, that group of cars still there right on top of each other. You've got Mark Murphy trying to get around Joe Lawrence, and then you've got Mark Roppolo there, and Trevor Roppolo trying to make a comeback after bringing out that last caution there. So really it's just a game of cat and mouse and a little bit of chess right now as well, where these guys just trying to figure out how to make their moves and make their way up through the field slowly but surely and carefully as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of guys now as we get later on into this run having some problems getting off the corner, getting loose off, and what we saw earlier with Corey Hoover just not having the drive off that they need and beating up those rear tires, especially the right rear, and just not having that drive off you need to gain spots. Going to be interesting to see if that continues on here. This is one of those tracks where you develop something like that handling wise, and definitely don't want to spin it out like we saw Michael Thompson did, unfortunately.
Corey Hoover, however, has picked up the pace, like you said there, Shane. He's gotten that Hunt Brothers Pizza number 33 back up underneath him, and he's doing a solid job right now, pulling away from Hartfells and Fayash. Now he's in 3rd, and then Hoover, we'll have to see how this cycle goes, and if we get a long run, how it's going to play out for that number 33 machine. But definitely he needs every single point that he can get here. Every position counts, every point counts, every lap counts. Like we saw last season here with the Truck Series, it came down to the wire, Shane. There were only just a couple of races left when we saw Austin Hartfells make a mistake and gave Corey Hoover about 10 points to work with, and that was pretty much what decided the end of the season. And, I mean, again, it's sitting right there like that right now. Fayash 17 points ahead of Hoover, and Hoover needs to get that gap down to about 10 points or less for that final race, even to have a shot at it.
Yeah, he's going to need to lead about 35 or more laps. He's been the leader for most of the race, with the exception of the couple laps Elaine Krasensky led. So if he can lead to about lap 105 or 106, I believe, then he'll get the credits for the most laps led, which is extra bonus points as well. So Corey's doing everything he has to do. But Fayash right now running in third. He did lead for a little bit, so he's got some laps led as well. So definitely he got that bonus point. It's just going to be a chess match. As you said, Steve, it's going to be these guys giving it their all each and every week at these different type of tracks. And ultimately, whoever has the best showing is going to end up the champion.
Well, real quick, while we have a hot second here, we're going to head off for a quick commercial break. We'll give you a rundown of the top 10 and what's changed up there. When we come back, don't go away. We've got more action from Martinsville Speedway for the UpperEdge Media 200 here in just a few moments.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
And we're back here on CFI as we are under caution here on lap 77. Mark Murphy loops it around here, coming off of 1 and 2. And that circle lines machine does a quick donut there in that inside line, but he's going to get it back going. There's no damage for him, but either way, we're under caution once again here at Martinsville Speedway. And this is going to once again play into the hands of some of those drivers that maybe saw the benefits of taking 2 tires, or maybe not taking 2 tires here, as drivers are pulling it down pit road once again.
Yeah, Fayash was able to hang up there, and so was Shane Terry, and so we're just going to have to see if anybody does, but looks like most of the guys taking 4 tires here.
And strangely enough, Mark Murphy and Mike Tellier are choosing to stay out for the time being, maybe just to get that lap lead shade for that number 48, who has a Steve Burns memorial on that hood. Burns strong, man. It's just so shocking. I was able to meet him not too long ago last year at Michigan, or actually, was it last year? It was relatively soon. It was either last year or the year before I met him there when I had my hot passes. And he is such a great guy, just great with the fans, great with everyone in the garage, and definitely touched a lot of people in the NASCAR and the sports community. And it's unfortunate to see him go, but the struggle with cancer, I mean, he is free of the pain and the struggle now.
Yeah, and I said this earlier on Facebook in the week. I just think what NASCAR did during the entire weekend and the whole support of Steve Burns on Sunday in the Food City 500 was amazing, and that just proves the loyalty of the sport of NASCAR. We have the best fans in the world, really, I think, undoubtedly. Just that much devotion to someone who's put this much time into the sport. It's just amazing, and it's sad to see him go, and you know, unfortunately, we're going to miss him, but what a valiant effort by everyone to remember his legacy, and it's really cool to see that.
And you know, a lot of people have their own thoughts, of course, on, you know, the greater forces in the universe that are bigger than humans, but I mean, I have to go and say that there was most definitely something playing out there that it allowed him to have the strength to see his memorial race here last weekend in Bristol. It's definitely a touching story, and it's all crazy when it comes down to it.
It really is, and it's just going to be something we're going to have to deal with. But he's in a better place, and that's something that we need to respect and pay our respects to him and everything he did.
And either way, these guys are not going to play their respects all race long, because the green flag's back out here at Martinsville Speedway. It's time to get back to short track racing here as they're all diving it into 1 and 2. Fayosh almost let Hartenfels back down in front of him, but he's going to drive it in hard to 1 and 2. And he's going to maintain that right now. Hoover back in front. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Hoover on the outside, slideways. He's going to hold on to it.
Yeah, a little contact there. Fayash and Hartenfels, they sorted out good old short track racing, but Hartenfels had to turn right off that corner. He was about to lose it, and he's about to lose it again. There's possible contact between him and Dyson, and these guys stuck on the outside right now, nowhere to go. See Shane Terrian with a big bumper to Austin Hartenfels.
Joe Lawrence also getting in the mix as well. He was sideways in that number 19 Mark Garoppolo. Oh, and he gets into him hard. Joe Lawrence sideways in 1 and 2. Everyone keeps it going. No caution. We're all good. But wow, that was crazy. Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, you're going to see Mark Murphy, huge wheel hop going into that turn. The rear kind of locked up on him, and he almost lost it into the turn, and he had to use Joe Lawrence kind of as his barrier to save the car. And nice save by everybody, but Joe's definitely got some damage after that one.
Just a beautiful job by Joe Lawrence there, holding on to it with cars hitting him and going everywhere. That was crazy. Now looking back up to the action here, Fayosh back up in the second. You've got Dyson in third, Hartenfels in fourth, Carl Shed still there in fifth, Shane Terrian right there behind him battling it out as well. And then you got to look back a little ways to see that second pack of cars we've talked about a couple times here today. Joe Lawrence trying to pull back away from Elaine Brzezinski, and Joe actually fell all the way back to 9th position after that contact. Definitely a tough break there.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky though. Looking at that left side of the car, I only see door damage, and that's pretty much irrelevant at a track like Martinsville. It's the fenders you worry about, it's the rotation of the car that you worry about, and definitely getting some damage to the door is really not a big deal at all, if anything. So he got pretty lucky there. He'll be able to kind of regroup. We get a caution, and just as I say that, caution's out. We got a spin up the front straightaway. Looks like Bruce Ackerman.
Replay there on your screen, you see Bruce is going at it with the number 31 Tom Ford, gets the outside wall, comes back across the number 7 of Ackerman. He loops it, trying to keep it off all the walls, all the other cars. Did a solid job there locking it down, but either way, we're under caution once again here at Martinsville as we're coming close to the halfway point.
Yeah, pretty short green flag run there, so most of the leaders choose to stay out. Unsurprisingly, though, the first car on pit road, the 19 of Joe Lawrence, has got some damage to fix and possibly some track position to try and get back with some 4 new fresh tires, so he and the rest of the field behind him will elect to come down pit road under the caution.
And now, as expected, most of the field will stay out here after only running a few laps on those tires, and really can't risk coming down pit road right now and having some of those drivers that were in the back take no tires or not pit at all and then get stuck behind them and get yourself in a bad position trying to go around them. So right now, that's where everyone sits, and we're under caution once again.
Yeah, that's pretty much what some of these guys in the back are going to try and do, especially at a track like Martinsville. They're going to try and go on an opposite strategy compared to leader. I guarantee you if the top 4 would have pitted, pretty much everyone behind them would have stayed out. Why? Because they'd get that track position I guess vice versa goes there because we saw 9th on back come down pit road. Just trying to mix it up and try a different thing compared to the leader, because you know you're not going to pass him on the racetrack. You very well could use track position late in this race to kind of steal some spots.
Quickly the field will get ready to get back up together, and then yeah, like I was gonna say there, these guys getting back up single or double file. Now Fayash is going to be on the outside after being on the inside. Now Dyson will be that car in that second row inside line. That's going to be beneficial to him. Hartenfels again stuck on the outside line, not the best place at all, and we'll see how this restart goes here. The pace car is going to be diving it down pit road this time by.
Yeah, we got the two best guys in the standings that are 1 and 2, currently second and first because Fayash is leading the points, but they're on the front row nonetheless as the green flag is out. Bad start by Fayash, and here we go, racing once again.
And the field all over each other once again. Dyson's going to dive it under the number 77, and Hartenfels drives it in deep, and 3 and 4 gets the nose under Hartenfels. Fayash will get the run, and looks like he's going to be stuck up in that outside line still against Dyson here. And we are coming up to halfway pretty darn quickly here.
Yeah, because of that poor start by Fayash, he's stuck on the outside, and they're lined up pretty much right behind him, single file, and he's not going to have many chances to get back in line, so he's going to have to fight hard for this spot. Dyson's really fast, so is Austin Hartenfels, so we're just going to have to see here. You know, Fayash definitely going to try and come down here. We'll see if he can do it.
Field still all on top of each other here, trying to sort things out, and this is really the struggle of Martinsville. You want to race side by side, you want to give it your all, but it's so tough because you go side by side even for a couple of laps, and you see the gap between Dyson and Hoover there, and that was the battle that Fayash was doing on the outside line. That slowed the both of them up.
Yeah, not only did it slow them up, but Corey Hoover's running like 2/10 faster than the field right now, and he's got a 2.5 lead on Austin Hartenfels, who's in the 3rd spot, and it's about a second back to Ryan Dyson, so Corey Hoover's just checking out at the moment.
Diving into 3 and 4 once again. Most of these guys single file now, getting in the groove and getting back into the rhythm. You got to look back once again a little bit further to see the next pack of cars. You've got Trevor Roppolo there in front of Shane Terry. That's for 9th. Dalton Alexander cracking the top turn, trying to defend the position for Mark Murphy.
Yeah, all these guys kind of single file, spacing themselves out. As Shane Terry's got a little bit of a moment there in turns 3 and 4. He's able to save it there. That could have been big. And they gather it all back up.
Hartenfels all over the back bumper of Ryan Dyson out the front of the field. We've already passed halfway. Now Hartenfels clips the grass. He's going to get sideways. He's going to save it. And now Fayash tries to capitalize, dives it underneath into the 3 and 4. Has to go in deep, and he's going to push Hartenfels a little bit up the track there, and that loose condition continues off of the corner. And now that Kroger machine's going to have to relinquish that spot to Fayash. And Fayash moves up to the 3rd position now to try to chase down Ryan Dyson.
Yeah, that's a common thing that happens here at Martinsville. You try and get just a little bit too much off the corner. You catch a piece of the curb, and in Austin's case, a piece of the grass as well. And He's able to save it, loses a spot, but that's definitely something you can't do late in this race. You can't make mistakes like that. It's so hard to hold on to a spot when you do that, so have to see if Austin can rebound here and try and maybe get that spot back.
Glancing through the field once more, these guys are battling really hard, and it looks like some of these drivers that were contenders early on seem to be struggling this round. And it's again looking like what I said earlier, if you get the track position out here at Martinsville, if you get out in front of the pack, you're going to stay there, Shane. As some of these drivers that are now towards the rear end of the lead pack, they're just not getting up to the pace that they need to continue moving up. As a lot of drivers are actually still struggling with the loose conditions there. As you see, Shane Terry, who was inside that top 5 for a short while there, getting extremely loose, as well as Dalton Alexander behind him. And now the 48 of Mark Murphy looks to the inside of Alexander, and he will probably be able to make that pass there too.
Yeah, Shane Terry, definitely one of those guys wanting a caution at the moment because those rear tires are pretty much cooked at this point. A little bit overdone, I guess you could say there, because he's really loose off the corner, can't get any drive off at all, and he's just hanging on at this point. And you know, this is the worst he's run all night in 9th right now. He's kind of consistently just been outside that top 5 in 6th or 7th or so.
Brzezinski has the number 9 all over the back bumper there. Brzezinski's going to try to hold on to that 7th position. Taking a little bit of strategy in hand so far in this event, and it seems to pay off. As you see there in the background, Terry is really loose there on the front straightaway. He's going to save it. And looks like Garoppolo, Mark Murphy capitalized on that one.
Yeah, he's lucky he's able to hang on to that, but Shane's going to drop back into the 10th spot, and just going to try and, nurse that car for now. We'll definitely probably see a caution before the end of this race, so, just kind of keep the defenders on it, come in when you can, and get some 4 new tires and try again, I guess.
Dyson sitting there in second, looks to start chasing down Corey Hoover now up in front. 2.1 seconds separates the two of them, and that is a pretty large gap. I would consider about 2 seconds at Martinsville, about 5 seconds at a place like Texas or Charlotte. So right now that gap is considerable, and we'll have to see how these cars handle throughout the long run. Shane, as we've seen a lot of drivers struggle on the long run, but also some drivers start to capitalize as well.
Yeah, definitely 2 seconds at a short track. That is a long ways, especially at Martinsville. That's about half or 3/4 of the straightaway. So that's definitely a long ways when you're talking about intervals. But yeah, Corey Hoover's going to have some lap traffic to deal with in front of him. He's got a couple of lap down cars of Tom Bourne and Michael Thompson in front of him. So we'll have to see when that happens. But Brian Dyson's kind of picked up the pace. He's no longer losing ground to Corey Hoover. They're kind of trading lap times back and forth. But the gap pretty much staying stable at the moment at 2 seconds.
And Fayage has not been able to get back up to Brian Dyson sitting there in second, so that 77. The Omni table machine is just kind of riding in place right now as the caution comes out. Shane Terrian's a round off of 1 and 2.
That one definitely predictable, and I think those rear tires said, finally enough, we're going around, unfortunately for Shane, and he doesn't hit anything, so that's a good thing. He'll get 4 new fresh tires on it, but he definitely did not want to be in the caution in that situation.
We've seen it a couple of times already tonight with the drivers getting super loose, and off of 1 and 2 especially. The way that the asphalt transfers on from that concrete there and makes the car really unstable, I'd like to say, especially here with the sunny skies.
Yeah, you got the clear skies out here, and that sun baking down on the track. Track temperature is actually almost 100 degrees. It's 71 degrees outside, so it's definitely, that's warm. It's not very warm, but it's warm enough to get these cars aggravated off the corners, and you're seeing that tonight with a lot of guys getting loose off, just not having the drive off that they need.
As we're going to hop on board here with the number 33, Corey Hoover, pulling it up and off of pit road there. Having a solid night so far, leading 99 laps. And I do believe this will make lap 100, and he crosses the line there. So practically got the most laps led, all locked up there. Corey Hoover, how you feeling out there right now? How's the car doing? And what are you most concerned about now if it comes to a long run?
Yeah, track's pretty good. It's certainly different from last night and Monday night from practice. It's like in between loose and tight. It's kind of loose coming off, but I'm dealing with it. I'm most concerned about I'm just concerned about late race cautions. I'm not a fan of those here. Some people pit, and then the leader's pretty much screwed either way he takes. So just concerned about points actually right now. Just trying to lead every lap and get max points.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment. Looking back into last season there for the Truck Series, it was close coming down to the wire when you were able to pull away from your teammate there in those final races. And this time it's basically vice versa for you, only it's not a teammate. You're 17 points out from Fayosh as the season's really coming down to the wire here. What do you need to do to get in reach as the pace car lights are going to go off here?
Yeah, Andrew's just been consistently first and winning pretty much every other week, so it's hard to gain any points on that. But pretty much just aiming for wins these next 3 races.
All right, well, good luck out there, Corey, starting on that inside. Going to be a good one. That was Corey Hoover, of course, there on that inside line, getting this restart kicked off. Green flag in the air. Dead on even, basically, for that restart there, diving it into 1 and 2. Looks like it's going to be hard for Dyson now. That's the first time, I do believe, all night long he's been stuck up on the outside. He's going to battle it, find some space there for a hot second, but Fayosh drives it in deep, and so does Hoover. He's actually going to drive it up the track, get a little bit loose there, and that could have been bad, and now looks like Ryan Dyson will back that car up and get in line there as well. So top 5, top 10 almost, single file right now.
Yeah, Ryan's pretty lucky though. He backed it up big time down the straightaway and almost got ran over there by Austin Hartenfels, but Austin gladly lets him in, and those guys now all single file. But yeah, Fayash right on the bumper now. Corey Hoover here on this restart. Corey very loose, and a caution's back out here on the front straightaway.
A bit of a big one here. We'll pull up the replay, take a look at what happened. I do see that Dalton Alexander got caught up in this one. It looks like things started. The number 32, not sure what happened. Maybe a technical failure on that machine. But he goes around, and we'll take a look at that one. Flex, Mark Murphy, and Dalton Alexander broadsided him like a barn there.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate there. That's actually the 97 of Mike Tellier. Those cars very identical, and they get together. But yeah, it looks like Shane Terrian actually sent that car around with Michael Finlayson in the 32 Fastenal Mustang, and he got into the wall and kind of ricocheted off and caused the rest of that. Those are pretty much a 3-car wreck. All those guys going to have some right and left side damage, and yeah, I'd say, Steve, that's pretty much the big one we've seen so far.
Now we're back under pacing here as we're 126 laps into the UpperEdge Media 200, live from Martinsville Speedway. As we're going to hop off for a quick commercial break. Don't go away. We've got more action here in the restart in just a few moments. Bringing it back here live at Martinsville Speedway. We're double back up for the UpperEdge Media 200, brought to you by Checkered Flag Interactive. These drivers coming down to the final stunts of this race. The pace car is going to pull it down pit road, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Shane, for the restart.
Yeah, getting ready to come back to Green Flag Racing once again. Corey Hoover, Austin, Martinville's back and forth, but it's Andrew Fayash the third in the front row, and the Green Flag's right back out here. Ryan Dyson right on the rear bumper. Corey Hoover, these guys barreling down into turn number 1.
Looks pretty clean throughout the field, as these opening laps have been pretty much. And these guys at the front, Ryan Dyson battles Fayash, makes a block there, big time block. Not really sure why either on that outside line there. It's going to move Fayash back a couple positions, and he's going to cross over on Hart.
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet crossover there, and Fayash definitely not happy with that move by Ryan on the restart. And that's just the product of short track racing on these restarts. Everyone's going for that inside line, and you have to start. There has to be 50% of the field of the outside line because there's an inside and an outside. So those guys have to get to the inside, and they're going to have to force their way down there. And there's going to be some guys not happy with the moves they make.
It's been quite interesting to see this race go through the cycles it's gone through so far. A lot of these drivers have had really good cars at times and then get themselves in a little bit of trouble. But one driver we have talked about a little bit here and there is Carl Shedd in that number 11. And Shane, he's still sitting there in fifth.
Yeah, he started second. He's been inside the top 5 for most of the night. Really impressed by what Carl's been able to do here tonight. Not a single scratch on that car, and he's been running up there virtually kind of on his own, but running lap times comparable to the leaders. Always nice to see from a guy who isn't running the entire schedule here in the UpperEdge CMC Sportsman Series. So he's doing a nice job up there, and hopefully he can bring it home.
A little bit of contact between Mark Murphy and Garoppolo there. The battle of the marks going into 1 and 2, and then here comes Shane Terrian on the back bumper there. All 3 of those cars tossed them under a blanket, one mistake, and all 4 of them right there are actually going to be knocked out, as Shane Terrian's actually got the number 60 of Kaczynski coming up on his back bumper. So right now, these guys try to recover after actually 2 out of the 4 were up towards that top 5 for a while there before being involved in some type of accident.
Yeah, Shane Terrian, one of those guys who's just glad to have some new tires on that machine as he actually gets into the back bumper, a mark there on there, and that's definitely interesting. We got something else
Dyson is getting into it a little bit there with Andrew Fayash. Fayash gives him a little bit of a tap, and they both get loose going down the front straightaway. Almost goes 3 wide there for a hot second, and now Dyson falls in behind Fayash there. And now he's got his teammate Austin Hurtfels all over his back bumper, and now Fayash starts to pull away from Dyson. Dyson diving in deep, trying to get back to that back bumper, maybe make a little bit of short track magic happen here. But either way, that's how it is right now. We've got Hoover, Fayash, Dyson, Hurtfels, and then Carl Shedd watching it all happen in front of him.
Yeah, it was earlier in the race. They were leaving about 3 and 4 feet between the cars, and that time off the corner, there was about 3 or 4 inches. You can see between Dyson and Fayash, so business kind of picking up here with about 60 laps to go. These guys kind of realizing you can't give that gap anymore. You got to go.
That in-race reporter of ours, Corey Hoover, continues to pull on away. Fayash 2 seconds back, and right now not too much going on for position. You got to look back again towards the battle of the marks, but they're just kind of riding in line right now with Shane Terrian slowly working his way back up through the field in that evil controller Ford Mustang. So we'll see him to 38 continue moving back up. And then Joe Lawrence is stalled out outside that top 10. He's sitting there in 11th right now. And that number 19 was running really solid earlier on in the day, just could not get that track position back.
Yeah, it's all about track position, especially when you get back here around 10 spot. You got a lot of lap traffic and a lot of guys that maybe you're faster than, but you really can't pass or get around because you can't get that run off the corner you need to be able to get the run into the next turn down the straightaway. So interesting to see some of these guys back here make some strategy calls if we get quick cautions and whatnot, because they know they have fast cars, they just can't go anywhere right now.
This race has kind of taken on a different shape than what we generally see when it comes to Martinsville Speedway. It seems a lot calmer than usual, a lot of riding in line tonight. A lot of these drivers might be racing hard for position, but they're not dive bombing people, they're not shoving too hard out of the way. And for the majority of these guys out here, they've actually just found themselves, falling into place and waiting for the other driver to make mistakes in front of them.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff's just been short track racing, beating and banging, kind of getting someone into the corner, rubbing fenders off the corner. That's really that's just stuff you deal with in short tracks, and hopefully they can continue that. It's been awesome to watch.
As Vayash starts to make a couple of strides back up towards the leader, he's got quite a bit of time to do it. 53 laps, however, Shane will click off very quickly here. And if Vayash can't get up there, of course, the second place is definitely nothing to cry over, but that's going to be 2 or 3 points knocked off between him and Hoover, and that gap's going to get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And if something were to happen to Vayash, he doesn't have any gap there to really waste.
Yeah, Corey's already locked the most laps led. He's led a lap, so he's doing everything but win the race, and currently he's winning right now. So if the race were to end now, he would pretty much get max points because he led everything. So, amazing to see the performance that Corey's put on here. We know he's been fast in the past when the trucks came here before, so, didn't doubt his ability to come out here and perform tonight. But Vayash, he's running good in second. He's definitely going to lose some points, though, if it would end right now. So, we're just going to have to see if he can get up there and maybe challenge for the lead. He could be saving something for all we know.
Shed is actually not gaining any time, and Dyson just got passed by teammate Austin Martinsville, so looks like Dyson might be falling off the pace just a little bit here as the run continues on. But one thing I'm watching is Martinsville is really loose, much like Shane Terrian was not too long ago. Elaine Krasinski and Joe Lawrence now side by side. That's for the 9th position, and Joe gets into the 60 sideways across the track. Caution should be coming out there, and there it is as he comes up in front of Tom Moore there. That Yelp machine almost got nailed, and this is that late race caution that Corey Hoover did not want to see.
I'll tell you who wanted to see that one, though. Dalton Alexander, literally maybe a couple car lengths before getting lapped, and he gets the caution flag he needed, so he'll stay on the lead lap in the 14th place, but definitely unfortunate break there for Elaine Krasinski.
But either way, another caution flag here gives these drivers a chance to switch things up on pit road. Do you take 2 tires? Do you take no tires? What do you do to maybe try to come away with a win? For a lot of these drivers, there's nothing left to lose, Shane. You're not going to win it on points when it comes to the championship, so take a risk and maybe get a race win.
Yeah, we're going to have just about 40 laps to go or so when we get the green flag, so it could be interesting to see if we see 2 tires. Like I said, some of those guys in the back, Shane Terrian and Joe Lawrence, they've been back there. They got fast cars. They could be the ones to make the choice, but Austin Hartenfeld is going to be the first one off pit road with 2 tires.
Shed also getting off in front of Corey Hoover there, and that's going to switch things up. So we've got two different cars up on the top front row. Hoover's going to be in that second row, of course, on that inside line. So he will be beneficial in comparison to Fayosh, who will be stuck up on the outside second row, which is definitely, I think, is actually the toughest row to start from. Outside front row is tough, but at least you've got a shot at it. And if you're stuck on that outside line, you can't jump the start or anything since there's a car there in front of you.
Yeah, Carl confirmed did take 2 tires there. They actually raised the left side, but then quickly dropped it, realizing that they could get the second spot. So both cars in the front row, when we line up here, will be on those 2 tires, and the rest of them behind will all be 4 tires. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how Carl does here on this restart. This is the first time he's been on the front row.
I'm going to click those pace car flash and first Ford Mustang lights off, and these guys roll through 1 and 2 once again, and we are getting ready to get that green flag back out here for the UpperEdge Media 200 at Martinsville Speedway. And these guys, it's coming down the wire. Tempers are going to start flaring, and we might see some balls to the wall move. Shane is there's the pace car. Now we wait for the 29 of Hartenfels to take off. There's the restart box, and we are going. Outside line didn't go anywhere. Fayosh did not get the start he wants, but he does get down on that inside line, and Hartenfels stays in front of Hoover. So it's going to be a battle here as they head down the straightaway into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Carl Shed's been struggling in the outside. When he initially started the race, he fell back, and here he's going to fall back again. So tough break for Carl. He'll find a way in line, though. Austin Hartenfels with the lead on 2 tires, but here comes Corey Hoover, just like before. He's got those 4 goodies, and he's coming to the front, possibly taking a look inside here. Door's going to shut. These guys racing hard here for the number 1 spot.
Oh, as Hartenfels is super sideways there. He's going to get the run down the straightaway.
Yeah, those 2 tires definitely very loose off, and he's loose to the center. He's drifting. Wow, we got skid marks through the center of the corner from that Austin Hartenfels machine. He's going to lose first, second, and possibly third as here comes Fayosh driving it down in there.
And that is going to give Hoover just what he needs there to break away from Dyson and what looks to be Fayosh now taking away that 3rd spot. Fayosh is going to have to battle with Dyson if he wants to have a shot at Corey Hoover. And Dyson's definitely not going to roll over because he's been pretty sporty here tonight in that UpperEdge Media number 28 Camaro. So let's just keep our eyes on this right now up at the front of the field. Everything else is single file.
Yeah, you can't fault Austin for taking those 2 tires. He took a chance. He knows he can't win this race just doing what the rest of the people did by taking 4 tires for drivers. So he decides to take 2 there. He drops back and forth, but I mean, good way to learn there. He might get another chance to come down pit road. We don't know. With the cautions falling here tonight, definitely still quite a little bit to go in this race.
Now Fayosh looks to the inside of Dyson. Not going to quite get there. And it looks like he's going to use up that back bumper as much as he can. And he has to be careful as well because Hartenfels is right there behind him. Hartenfels is strong as well. All of these drivers are pretty equally matched, but Hoover's just got a little bit of an extra edge over them, especially now being in the lead with clean air. Now a second, almost half of a second away from Fayosh, and then a quarter of a second in front of Dyson, and that is going to be the battle that we've got our eyes on.
Yeah, something tells me that little skirmish between Dyson and Fayosh definitely not over, so we'll have to see if Fayosh can get to Ryan Dyson. Could see some bumper action there, if anything, so we'll have to see. But talking about Mr. Where did he come from? Mark Murphy started 11th up to the 5th spot here, peaking at the right time inside the top 5 here with under 40 laps to go. He's doing a nice job there, and he's right behind Austin as he gets in the wall over there.
Dyson still not rolling over for Fayash, giving it everything that he's got there. That number 28, like I talked about a little bit earlier, has been consistently picking up the momentum throughout the season. Not only this season, but in the Truck Series and the Super Late Model Series that they've got here for the UpperEdge Racing Series. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, when it all boils down, it looks like that number 28 might just have a little more momentum rolling into every single race, but right now he's got his hands full. That number 77 is all over that back bumper. Martinsville is falling off on those two tires there, and the laps are clicking off really quick. Like right now, it's 31 laps to go here. Lap 170 out of 200 at the UpperEdge medium 200, and it's really just coming down to it. If Fayash can't get around Dyson quickly, I've got a feeling that Hoover's just going to continue to pull away.
Yeah, but interestingly, this run, Dyson and Fayash, they've actually been able to hang with Corey a little bit. Corey's running the same time he's been running all night, but, these two cars in second and third, they're actually keeping pace a little bit, kind of driving harder than they've done before. Maybe they had kind of easy ride in line mode on before, and now they're kind of really going for it, giving it everything they've got as Fayash gets into the wall. He's going to lose about a car length on Dyson, but now it's actually about a second back from first to second, so Corey Hoover pulling away in a hurry now.
Hartenfels, Mark Murphy now battling side by side, and what Hoover doesn't want is a caution here. And as some of these drivers battle it out right now, Hartenfels with the aggressive, that was a very aggressive try to do a crossover there. It's not going to work out. Ran out of room going through 1 and 2. And again, he's going to get to that quarter panel, but he's going to get loose up and off the corner, so he won't be able to make anything happen with it there. Again, got to be very, very careful here. If Hoover gets stuck with another caution, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Like he talked about under caution a little bit earlier, strategy comes into play, and it can be tough for that leader.
Yeah, definitely, and Austin's doing a nice job, though. He's hanging on in fifth, and that car definitely not handling how he wants to. He took the chance on two tires. He's just going to have to live with it. If we don't end up getting a caution, hopefully he won't end up being a caution. He's still got a good spot there in the top five.
Not missing anything up at the front. These guys driving so hard, flipping that outside wall every couple of quarters here. You saw it especially that last time by. Whoa, Joe Lawrence very sideways in that 19. Trevor Roppolo all over his back bumper there, so that's a little bit of a battle for 8. And Lawrence is looking strong, but that machine's really falling apart right now as those back tires are probably getting pretty worn. And then looking back up, Conor Shed still trying to get back up to that top line. He's sitting there at 6. Shane Terry right there behind him. Hartenfels, oh man, catches that outside wall for a hot second there. He's going to save it. And I mean, it's just coming down the wire here. 1.3 seconds though between Hoover and Dyson up at the front of the field.
Yeah, Mark Murphy continues to be the late bloomer in this race, though, all the way up to fourth. That Ford Mustang is hooked up there, and he's supporting the Steve Burns logo, and that's leading him to the front essentially here. Start 11th all the way up to 4th, and that car, going strong. He's about 4 seconds off the leader, so maybe not quite the pace to stay with Corey, but definitely Mark putting up the best effort he has all night right now.
Fayash still cannot get around Dyson. Coming to 21 laps to go in this event. Hoover is pulling away even more. Now at a second and a half that time by. It's coming down to it, and Dyson's getting loose. He knows he's got a little bit of pressure behind him, and Fayash is so strong. Currently the points leader by 17 points, but that gap's going to be cut down a little bit here if he can't get around these guys and maybe make something happen up the front.
Yeah, it's about a second and a half with Ryan Dyson and Corey Hoover, and I think Fayash is really just not. He doesn't want to stay behind Ryan any longer, but he knows he just can't get that run off. He tried it there, just not able to get the grip he needs to get underneath Ryan and try and outbrake him into the turn, and that's really the only way you're going to make this pass is outbraking Ryan into the corner. I don't see you moving him out of the groove. Ryan definitely with that super late model experience able to run around these short tracks and do really well. But this would be a great run for Ryan Dyson, someone who's kind of been struggling as of lately. And, you know, up there in the second spot, this would definitely be something that he needs for some possible future momentum.
Hartenfeld's up out of the groove there. Carl Shed goes on by.
Oh, we got a spin for the second. Dyson's around, and finally the bumper goes from Fayash. Big implications after that one.
We'll catch a replay of that one. Let's take a look going through 3 and 4. Dyson there gets a bad run off the corner. Fayash goes on the inside. Dyson cuts him off, and the 77 gets on the grass there. Can't do anything about it. Weird glitch. The 28 spins around. Wow.
Yeah, just talking about how those guys were kind of calming down. All of a sudden, we see that happen. So definitely those angry drivers after that one. And now Fayash is going to stay out, and here comes the field onto pit road. So, or at least a couple guys come down. So strategy taking place late here, and Corey Hoover going to give up that lead.
Wow, Shane. Everything just changed right there. We're going to have about 10 laps to go, maybe 11 or 12 at the most. And everything's going to be up in the air on this restart. A couple of drivers staying out. And Shane, oh man, with all of those cars staying out, there's no way Hoover is going to get back up to the front.
Yeah, I question that move by Corey Hoover. I mean, he's definitely got a great car, and he can probably get his way through some of that traffic, but there are a lot of cars that stayed out here. I'm going to try and get a number quickly, but yeah, it's definitely over 5. There's plenty of guys who decided not to come down pit road, and Corey's going to be mired pretty far back there.
Well, take a look at the running order as it runs right now. Fayash, Carl Shed, Shane Terrian, Trevor Roppolo, Dalton Alexander rounds out the top 5. Mark Roppolo. That's 6 cars before you get to Hoover. And, I mean, that is 3 rows of traffic, plus Fayash, of course, out in front, who's going to be able to pull away here, most likely. And that is a lot of competition here. And, unfortunately, unless something really big happens up the front, I think Hoover, best he's going to do is maybe get to second place, but there's no way that he's going to be able to get up to Fayash unless something big happens.
Trying to see what's actually going on here. Corey Hoover listed in 13th at the moment. Do not understand what's going on here.
Did he possibly get a black flag?
I'm checking. I don't know if there's a way you could check on the server, but what I'm seeing right now is he does not have a black flag. There is no panic in the pit area, so maybe a glitch in the scoring. I don't know, but this is huge, going from the lead possibly to outside the top 10.
Oh man, and that is how the cookie crumbles. That is the one thing he did not need here tonight, Shane. You know, restarting in 6th and maybe getting up to 3rd or 4th or 2nd even is definitely not as bad as starting outside that top 10 now. We're going to have 12 laps to go as the pace car pulls on off. It's time to get going for the UpperEdge Media 200. This is it here at the tail end of this race, waiting for Fayash to go. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, back in the air. Carl Shed, a little bit of a struggle on the outside, but they're going to be side by side. Shane Terrian up for the second spot. He's coming to the front, but Fayash out in front, pulling away as there's action behind him.
Dalton Alexander inside that top 5. A little bit of a shot there from those guys. Big stack up. Looks like trouble. Hoover's involved. He saves it. That could have been even worse than what's going on right now. Hoover now in 9th position.
Yeah, we got huge freight train at the front, though. The bumpers are coming out because we've got some cars that are not quite as fast as some others. And there goes Dalton Alexander up the hill a little bit. Austin Hartenfeld's coming through. Beep, beep. And Corey Hoover also trying to make a move on Ryan Dyson. And he's going to make that work. Plenty of cars trying to go to the front here as we're getting underneath. 10 laps to go, as now there's 10 exactly.
He will make the pass on Dyson. Now Mark Murphy looks to get around Dyson. Andrew Fayash has a second over the front there. Coming up off the corner, Mark Murphy got really loose. Trevor Roppolo there, loose as well. Now side by side for second place. Shane Terrian on the outside, and then you've got Carl Shed on the inside going for second spot there. He's going to drive it in deep. Contact made. Almost 3 wide. We got a car sideways. No caution. We're still racing.
Yeah, and you know, the guy loving this is Andrew Fayash up there out front. Under 10 laps to go. He's checking out. See you later. At this point, the battle is for second. Shane Terrian falls back into the 4th spot. Dalton Alexander up to 5th. That's a remarkable comeback from him. He's putting on a career night, or a career comeback night.
Tom Board around, caution's out.
Caution out in 3 and 4, and we're not done here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have another green flag restart.
Taking a look at the replay, I mean, just a wad of cars there heading down the back straightaway. Tom Bourne and Mark. Whoa, Tom Bourne drove it in very, very deep there. Completely annihilates Trevor Roppolo there. Not sure what that was all about. Maybe a miscalculation there on the number 31 Yelp machine, but a very hard contact there rolling through the corner. We're in a caution once again here. We're going to have about a 2-lap shootout.
Yeah, confirmed there, Steve. Tom had some brake lock up into that turn, causing the car to go straight into the turn. Definitely not something you want to see here, but as long as these guys have been out here, definitely a common occurrence.
We're going to ring up Corey Hoover here, currently sitting in 9th. Corey, what happened under that pit road sequence that got you so far back?
I got a speeding penalty and a exit closed pit. So I don't know what the deal on that was, but pretty much ruined our night.
Now you're sitting there where you are right now. I mean, it is tough back there all night long. One of the key things was track position, but it's tough being out there in the front to gauge how important track position is if you're always going to be out in the front. And it is tough, especially some of these guys. They might not be faster than you, but they seem to be putting up such a fight, and it's so tough because you get knocked out of the line, and here comes the freight train. And explain, what is it like in comparison to being out in front and out in the back, and just the terms of the racing in general?
Yeah, if you're the leader and you're out front, pretty much whatever you do, everyone else is going to do the opposite. I knew that, so I took a chance on it, and backfired on me. But racing-wise, you just got to be patient and keep your nose clean.
All right, well, we should be getting the green flag here for at least one more lap of green flag, and best of luck moving through the field. It's going to be a tough one.
Thanks, guys.
And from the looks of the scoring tower, it appears we're going to have a 1-lap shootout. So put it all on the line. We're going to make 200 laps around this track tonight. 199 of them are going to be complete when we get the green. Only one of them will remain, and it's going to be the most important lap. Andrew Fayash the third in the lead. Carl Shed on the outside of the front row. Who's going to win this thing? I have no idea.
Shane, I mean, this is one of the biggest restarts of a lot of these drivers' seasons right here. Fayash could just as easily go from first to last here. Carl Shed could win this race in one of his first appearances this season, if not his first. Oh man, Shane, the excitement is real. The pace car is off for the last time here tonight at Martinsville Speedway. This is the restart that needs to be perfect there. Carl Shed rubbing doors there. Again, not the restart he needs. The outside line held up there. Dalton Alexander dives it underneath the Terrian. Fayash goes up the track into the number 29. Oh man, they are stacking it up all over the place right now. Fayash not going to win this. Here comes Hartenfels there in front of the field, coming off turn 3 and 4. He's going to win the UpperEdge Media 200 here, as they are all over the place behind him.
They had a crazy finish behind on the wreck-it after the checkered flag, but what a steal by Austin Hartenfels in the final lap there in 1 and 2. Takes the lead away from Andrew Fayash the third and wins here at Martinsville.
As Dyson gives a little bit of a bump there to Fayash coming in the pit lane. Let's take a look at those final couple of laps. You see it right there. They are all over the place going into 3 and 4. This is after Hartenfels has already gotten up to the lead. They are stacking it up right there behind them. I mean, just nowhere to go. Drivers get knocked around like pinballs, 3 wide across from multiple spots there. What a finish.
Yeah, definitely a big-time finish, but who would have known that Austin Hartenfels, after how loose that car was in the second half of the race, would come through and win tonight. That is amazing. Great comeback by him, and he's gonna enjoy this one here. A win at Martinsville, definitely hard-earned, guaranteed.
And what a race it was, and definitely didn't expect the finish that we saw here tonight. I mean, out of all the drivers, you didn't expect Hartenfels to be able to come away with the win. I mean, he was always there, but he was not quite fast enough. But Shane, I do believe you've caught up with Ryan Dyson there on pit road.
Yeah, frustrating end here for the night on Ryan Dyson. Guess kind of what we can say after a race at Martinsville is kind of take us through your race, Ryan. What are you feeling after all that chaos?
I'm going to try and remain as professional as I can in this interview, but I am, for lack of better words, absolutely serious. There was no need for it. Corey was gone. None of us were catching him, and he insists he'd been, quote, trying to get to the inside of me the entire race or whatever. I don't know what he was saying. He was shooting his mouth off pretty good, but I don't know. That first time he tried dive bombing me, I didn't want to let him do it, and then the second time he tried to dive bomb me, he didn't back off and just destroyed me. So I don't know what happened. I'll have to go back and watch it. Maybe it was my fault, but from inside the car, I don't think I did anything wrong. I was running my line the entire time, and he tried to be a hero.
Yeah, definitely some hard racing up front here tonight. It's kind of something you expect here at Martinsville, but talk about the late race cautions here, where there were plenty of them, and you could definitely tell the pace kind of picked up as we got in the later part of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were going to go green to the end until I got turned, and then I think there was another caution or something. I don't even know how many cautions there were at the end. I don't think it was too bad, but I don't even know who won. I actually don't even know who won, but I'm hoping it was a good finish. I know it was just absolute chaos on that last lap. I wish iRacing had green, white checkers, but, you know, it's just a product of Martinsville. Absolutely love Martinsville. Absolutely proud of the effort we had tonight, and we've had the past 3 weeks in this series actually really starting to turn things around. Hopefully it's signs of things to come for next year.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to next year, next season. Always enjoy covering this series, and kind of talk about any of the sponsors or things that not only bring your car to the track, but kind of help make this series happen.
Well, on my car, I'd like to thank UpperEdge Media, London Recreational. London Recreational helps me personally and UpperEdge an extraordinary amount, so big shout out to London Recreational and London Recreational Racing. Driven Steering Wheels, I think they're coming on board as an actual sponsor for the league next year, which is awesome. Got to thank Crescent Moon Contractors for being the promoter of the series, and there's lots of sponsors that I can't get through them all. That's a good problem to have, but yeah, there's lots of them.
Yeah, always good to see, and it kind of helps this league and helps all the great racing action we see here. And tonight definitely was a very, very impressive race, and good job to Ryan. He's going to bring it home in 8th tonight.
Thanks, guys. I got to thank you guys, too.
Now I've caught up with Andrew Fayosh and Austin Hartenfels, the both of them here first. Austin, I'm going to talk to you. Congrats on getting the win tonight. Talk about your journey here throughout the race. All right, or not, let's talk to Andrew Fayosh there. We took a look at the replay of the altercation there leading up into those final 20 laps. Looks like you got to the inside of Ryan. He started to come down, and you really didn't have anywhere to go. You just drove it in there, hard Martinsville race, and explain what it was like from your point of view.
I only caught part of your question because Ryan's mad at me in the server. Would you mind repeating that, please?
We took a couple of looks at that replay there from above, going into 1 and 2 there with about 20 laps to go. You got to the inside of Dyson. He started to come down, and you just didn't back out of it. Explain what it was like there from your point of view.
Well, I mean, I tried passing him multiple times. I kept running him down from a gap back, and I mean, it's so hard, especially with the setup that we had today. It was really, really hard to set up a run on corner exit. And so even if you just got a little bit of a run, you know, I spent the straightaway showing my intent of going in on the bottom, and he spent the straightaway leaving the bottom open. If he'd have blocked before the braking zone, then then maybe I would have tried to go lower. Maybe I would have ducked in line and said, okay, he obviously wants to protect the bottom. But if you leave it open the whole straightaway, I am going in that corner at the braking point as if you're going to leave it open in the corner. I'm not going to know that, hey, you're going to cut down across my nose. And I know I wasn't exactly there, but I'd made so many attempts to try to pass him that, like, you know, if you keep doing that move every time, I'm not going to be able to predict it every time, and I'm not going to be able to be prepared for it every time, and it's going to happen. You can't do that at Martinsville every single corner or every single time somebody tries to pass you and expect it to work out without contact.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's short track racing. Now explain how the rest of your race went, and explain what happened there on that last restart.
Well, before that, I don't know why the heck Corey pit. I don't understand that. He kind of threw it away there, but I'm not mad about the contact in turn one because it is Martinsville, and if you get a chance last lap, I mean, we see the cup races there and trucks and everything, and you see that all the time. It's gonna happen. I was actually more mad about. I wasn't mad about turn one. I was mad about the restart because I was getting pushed before we were anywhere near the start, and it pushed me up into the 11, and I was out of shape before I even decided to go. So I was more mad about that than I was turn one.
And definitely, I mean, it's short track racing. It's coming down to the end of the season, though. And now, after another detrimental impact there, the Hoover, what is your plan over the next couple of weeks when it comes to the racing strategy? You just have to finish consistent. And what are your thoughts over the final couple of races?
All I can do is hope that I don't get destroyed. I mean, as long as I run smooth and consistent, I could finish, you know, top 5 the next 2 races. I should be okay. So it's just a matter of staying out of trouble. Problem is, we just left here, and I'm pretty sure that Ryan's really upset with me. So, I don't know. Hopefully he gets over it in a week, and we could all move on.
All right. Well, Fayash, congrats on a solid finish, contact or not. That's short track racing, baby. If you didn't expect it, I guess you came to the wrong track.
That's right.
And I do believe, Shane, you've caught up now with Hartenfels. Still excited there on pit road.
Yeah, finally got the mic working here, but Austin Hartenfeld's bringing home the win here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. Kind of take us through your race, Austin. You finally conquered the paperclip.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is a really special track to me, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, it was a really eventful race. I wasn't expecting to be up front much at all. I know Corey and Andrew and Ryan were really quick all night. But you know, the car, I was pretty bad. You know, because I know I took 2 tires on one of those restarts, and I was just awful. I was sliding all over the place. So, you know, the late cautions is really what got me the win, and I have nothing against Andrew. That had nothing to do with anything else that was going on. That was purely racing. So I just want to make that clear. And you know, that was I don't regret it because I won, and it's Martinsville. So I guess you kind of have to expect that. I didn't mean to wreck him. I didn't want to wreck him. I don't even know where he finished. But I hope he didn't wreck. But all in all, it was a good night for the league. It was a good night for the team, and I really had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Fash was actually able to finish right behind you in second, so he was able to come back from that. But at the end of the race, we kind of saw the intensity pick up extremely. All of a sudden, you guys went from riding around to beating and banging off the corners while you were nursing around a car that was really loose, and did a nice job there at the end. But kind of take us through all of a sudden how you guys really amped up the pace there at the end.
Yeah, I think you know, it was settling down. It was all calmed down. We had our groove in the race, and then Corey got a speeding penalty, and you know, he'd been leading most of the race, and I think that really messed with us. And you know, he got back there, and you know, Ryan had his incident with Andrew, and he got back there, and I think they were trying to get up to the field as soon as possible, and I had fresh tires. I was in 7th on the inside on that restart, and I knew I could get up there if I if I rub some doors. So, and I know it's Martinsville, so it's going to happen. And that's one thing I love about this track is that, it's not dirty. It's just, it's doing what you have to do, but it's a lot of fun. And the intensity definitely, it ramped up at the end when everyone thought they could get to the front right away.
Yeah, we saw some pretty awesome racing action here today. If you guys get a chance to go look at that, it's definitely going to be awesome to watch here. It's really just an impressive race here tonight. But anyone you want to thank for tonight's efforts, who brings that number 29 car to the track every week?
Yeah, Kroger for the primary the last time this season. Great looking car on the track, especially at Martinsville. Castrol Edge, Wesco, and I want to give a shout out to you guys for having great broadcasts every week, and UpperEdge Media for painting all the cars, and Ryan Dyson for putting on the show.
All right, so Austin Artenfeld's been home the win here tonight in Martinsville, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up here, Steve.
Yeah, we had ourselves an eventful night here at Martinsville, and really you couldn't ask for anything more. We had green flag racing, we had 2x2 battles, we had some 3 wide beating and banging across the finish line, we had some rivalries, we had some tempers flare, and at the end we saw some cones go flying, some tempers again, like I said, go flaring, and helmets went flying, and I mean, we just have to wait and see what happens next week, as this season is coming down to the wire. Just a couple of races left. Make sure you tune in to Facebook. We'll give you an update on the points later in the week, and then we're back next week, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be a good one, live on CFI.